Well, we are back with another comparison. So I had posted some pictures of the Breitling Superocean, of which I just did a video of the other day. This was loaned in from my good buddy Jerry, who makes all the glow-in-the-dark stuff. So I'll put a link to this video at the end. But I posted this on Facebook and Instagram along with this very cool donut, Medford. And one of my Facebook friends or Instagram followers asked, Breitling or Omega? He's always been a fan of these two Omegas of mine. And so I kind of gave him my opinion, and I thought it might be a cool video to do to talk about these two kind of Omega versus Breitling. So now I don't know that it's a fair comparison to compare the Breitling Superocean to the Omega Planet Ocean. However, I have them both on metal bracelets. I think the better comparison is the Breitling Superocean and the Omega Seamaster Professional Diver 300. And it's certainly not a comparison to the GMT Planet Ocean. So I'm going to put that off to the side. But I do have the bracelet for the Omega SMP. I just don't have it on because in my opinion, once I went to the rubber strap, especially this new deployment clasp one that I got from my buddy Brian over at Creations Fine Jewelers here in Napa, my local Omega AD. Link to his website down below. If you need anything Omega or Tissot or general jewelry for the ladies or for the guys, because there's some John Henry bracelets I'm looking at for myself, he can definitely hook you up. Call the store, ask for Brian. Anyway, once I put the Seamaster on the rubber strap, it was never going back on the bracelet. But for comparisons here, we'll leave this out, because that does play in. And there is a rubber strap for the Superocean as well. And we'll talk about that in just a minute also. Well, first let's talk about the price points. The Breitling Superocean on the metal bracelet, as you see it here, retail is $4,200. The Seamaster Professional on the metal bracelet is $5,400. Okay. On the rubber strap, you're looking at $5,100. And on the rubber strap over here, you're looking at $37. Okay. So there's definitely a different price range. So if we look at the metal bracelet here, it's pretty standard. 4 micro adjusts, milled centerpiece, stamped side bits, but it's just a friction fit and the fold over clasp. And the fold over clasp is the one thing I hate about this watch, because you really kind of need to dig your nail in to get this open. And when it's on your wrist, it's a little more difficult. And then it'll pull and pop open no problem. But there is no on-the-fly adjustments. It is just the 3 or 4 micro adjusts. Okay. If we look at the Seamaster Professional, there is no fold over. It's just the double pusher, all milled out, all the pieces, and push button micro adjust, on-the-fly adjustments, as well as a diver extension. So I think you absolutely get a better bracelet with the Omega. Now you have half links as well, so you can really size this better, I believe. And if you use this kind of quick adjust to adjust it out 1 or 2, even to get the perfect sizing. I use it when it gets warm or something. I'll just pop it out a little bit so it's not super constrictive on my wrist. because the Planet Ocean here has the same exact clasp. The metal bracelet is slightly different. So this one is unique too. It's got kind of that five link, if you will. And here it has kind of angled, which I always thought was weird when I saw pictures of it and all my friends had one, until I got it and I wore it. The angular part doesn't bother me at all anymore. Okay, so I think right now the Omega wins it for the clasp. I don't necessarily like this non-tapering bracelet, but a lot of people love it. On the Planet Ocean, it certainly tapers, and I love that a little more. Okay, I'm just going to set that off the side because really the comparisons are here. So on the rubber strap, this particular one comes with two different styles you can get. Your standard tang and buckle, like a normal belt, or with this deployment clasp. It's different rubbers. So when you buy that, it's rather expensive to buy just this rubber piece with the clasp. But in my opinion, super comfortable, super easy on and off. It is a little thicker. Okay. And you still have holes. Depending on how big your wrist is, you'll have more or less holes showing. But I do like the fact that the extra bit of the rubber strap is on the bottom side, not just flapping out here in the breeze with like a keeper. The rubber strap for the Breitling, they did the clasp way better than they did the clasp on the metal bracelet. Double pushers, all milled out, good to go. And they have a micro adjust here. On the fly micro adjust, which the rubber strap on the Omega does not have any adjustment. You have just the holes in the bracelet. Now, one thing I don't really love about this bracelet, because of the way it closes and sizes, you have to cut this rubber strap when you size it for yourself. I also don't know that I love the word Breitling on it, all over it, but that's okay. But because you cut it, you got to measure twice and cut once. But it does give you, I don't know what it is, 5 or 6 micro adjusts there for if you gain a little weight or it gets hot and your wrist expands and things like that. So for the rubber strap, I don't know. I really kind of like some of the adjustability of the Breitling and the fact that there is no extra bit either under or on top. And I think your clasp is just about the same thickness as the rubber strap on the Omega. Okay. So then we come to the actual watch itself, which is really what we're here to talk about, the watch head. Let me see if I zoom in. I should have probably zoomed in earlier, but that's okay. So one of the complaints that everybody has, or a lot of people have about the Breitling Superocean, is the lack of a 3. Well, if you look at the Planet Ocean, there's no 3 either, and there's a date wheel over on the right-hand side at 3 o'clock. So it's very similar, and this never bothered me, and that doesn't bother me at all either. Something else that you'll notice between these two is you have the helium escape valve. What's funny is, on the Omega, the Breitling is 500 meter and the Omega is 300 meter. But yet on the Omega, you've got the helium escape valve up here at the 10 o'clock. I don't mind it. A lot of people absolutely hate it. So we won't go there. Okay. Between these two, the Breitling Superocean is super legible. Like absolutely the most legible out of all the 3 of these Omegas. And the bezel on this one, you can actually turn nice and easy, and it's a satisfying turn. Okay. On the Seamaster, you can't. Like you can turn it right here. In just this little spot is about the only spot you can get to grab it. But it's a little more frustrating than satisfying. For me, I don't care. I never rotate my bezels unless they get bumped and moved off to the side. The Planet Ocean is very similar in bezel to the Breitling Superocean. The loom, let's talk about that here for a quick second. If I can turn the light off over here with my other hand. Got a little excited there. See if the loom even comes up well. Let's hit it with the UV light. The loom on the Breitling Superocean is much more potent, for sure. But both equally legible at night and things like that. You're going to get a little more legibility out of the BSO, the Breitling Superocean, than the SMP300. But they're going to last about the same. There is, just the loom on the Breitling is probably some of the best I've ever seen. It's just fantastic. You can see it during the daytime. It's so bright. So, I don't know. I don't really have an opinion. Oh, let's say one other thing. Solid case back. Exhibition case back. That's not really a thing for me. I appreciate the see-through case back, but it would certainly never be a deal breaker for me because I'm wearing my watch. I'm not staring at the back of it. So I don't know, guys. You tell me. I don't really have an opinion. I can say that I own these 3 Omegas that I have spent my money on, and I absolutely love the deep black. Ceramic case, see-through case back, GMT. It's probably my favorite Omega watch that I own. And I would not pay retail for the Breitling just because of the clasp and some of the other issues that I mentioned. I would pay retail for these Omegas. So that tells you something, I guess. Tell me down below in the comments, what do you think? Are you familiar with any of these? And do you own either of these? And what are your thoughts? And what did I miss or not talk about as a plus or minus of any of these? Because I'd love to hear you. It's very unscientific. Just one guy's opinion who owns 3 and has borrowed this one for a week and a half now. And I got to give it back. I figured I'd do a quick video before I give it back to Jerry in a few days. By the time you guys see this video, I think I'm going to be seeing him and giving it back that day. So let me know your thoughts. I would love to hear it. And Mike, who asked about Breitling versus Omega, I hope this helped.